There are so many interesting, horrifying, or downright weird things in this big world of ours.
Each week, we'll bring you a new true crime story that has little to no coverage in English.
Let us do the translations so you don't have to.
I'm Victoria.
I'm Laura.
I'm Petra. And this is the podcast Translation Murder. Welcome back. This is the second part of the story about the Asama Mountain Lodge incident in Japan in the 1970s.
Woohoo.
Yeah, it's been on my
It's
mind.
been a while. Yes, and
How
it's
does
been a
this
while.
get resolved? Yeah.
Yes. So, as a recap, so there was this group of fugitives from the United Red Army, which was a militant leftist organization in Japan in the 1970s. And there had been this purge where most of the group had been killed or left to die. And then police had entered their hideout, and 5 of them had managed to escape through the mountains. And then they had arrived at this Asama Mountain Lodge and taken. So they had taken the wife of the caretaker as a hostage at gunpoint because she was the only person who was in the lodge. All the visitors and the caretaker was out.
Weren't the rest of them like ski or ice skating or something like that? Or what was the? There was like an outing why everybody else was gone from the hotel or the lodge, right?
Yeah, at least one source said they went ice skating, so we can go with that. I'm not 100% sure if that was it, but anyway, some kind of sporting, because this was like an area where you would go during your holidays and ski and do all nice winter stuff.
Yeah, it just came to my mind that I imagine if someone in the future is listening to these 2 episodes like consecutively, they are probably like, I just heard all of this. Why are you asking the details? Well, what were they doing? Ice skating? Obviously, they were ice skating. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. True. I guess we can then skip.
No, but I mean, not everyone is listening to it that way. So I think it's a good idea to give a summary.
I mean, some random people listen to podcasts from the opposite order, like they start from the highest episode and then go backwards, which sounds fucking batshit crazy to me. But yeah,
yeah. What? Know. But like, so because I understand if you're just, I don't know, like looking into new podcasts and maybe picking one that looks interesting based on the title, just to see if you like it in general.
Yeah.
But would you take the part 2 of something?
Yeah, I guess some people do. They literally like on this and that's why we drink. There's some people like, yeah, I'm listening backwards to front, and then, or like, back, or the newest episodes, and then going back. But I'm like, that would just annoy me because I need to complete everything, like in sequential order. And then I'm always asking, like, okay, so if you listen to the podcast starting today, and then you listen to everything older, then you have all these other ones you need to listen to again, and you're never fucking ending. Like, then you have to listen. It's just this fucking order doesn't make any sense. It just annoys me. It just annoys me.
Some podcasters say that, like when you're going to listen to a new podcast, you should always start with the newest episode because that should be their best episode. Because obviously in the beginning, everyone is kind of, I don't know, not that great. So I guess maybe that's the reason why some podcasts end up deleting some of their first episodes.
Yeah. I think like
maybe
12
we can just have a disclaimer.
Yeah. Well, okay. I guess you can continue, Petra. That was my rant about people listening back to front.
Yeah, this was my first time hearing about this phenomenon. But I mean, it's a bit like when you binge watch. I mean, not the opposite order, but this recap. Like when you binge watch something and they always have to recap in the beginning of the episode, and you're like, I know, I just watched it. So sorry for that.
That's very true.
So initially, the fugitives were not in agreement of the plan of taking the wife as a hostage and staying in the mountain lodge. But as they weren't fed very well and one of them was missing his right foot shoe, they decided to go with the sieging in the mountain lodge plan. And here I actually would like to just tell the kind of introduce them as names, because there are acts that certain individuals do during this siege. But I understand that it's maybe hard to follow who's doing what. But if you want, you can just take a memo of their names.
Okay.
So the 5 fugitives were Kunio Pando. I will then use their surnames to this. So Pando, he was 25, a graduate from Kyoto University. Then there was Masakuni Yoshino, 23, who was a senior at Yokohama National University. And then we had Hiroshi Sakaguchi, who was 25, a dropout from Tokyo Suisang University. And then we had...
Sorry.
yeah. And then we had young Jiro Kato, 19, and his little brother Saburo Kato, 16. I guess they weren't in university yet because there was no mention about their studentship. Anyway, very young men, all of them. Bando, Yoshino, Sakaguchi, and 2 Katos.
Yes.
Okay.
I think I wrote them down. Probably
Yeah.
incorrectly, but...
And not super important to follow their names, but anyway, they seem to have a bit different way of doing things. Okay, so they are now in the mountain lodge, Asama Mountain Lodge. It's a 3-story built building, and it's built into the side of a hill. It has very maze-like floor plan, narrow staircases, so it was pretty good for this kind of sieging. These radicals would mostly be in the uppermost floor that had kitchen, sleeping room, and a view to the surrounding valley. So it was good for their, checking who's coming and what's happening outside. So the caretaker, Mr. Muta, returns, and he saw the barricades that the fugitives had built there, and he figured out pretty quickly what had happened and notified the police. And remember, already these guys were followed by a police just a while ago, so probably it was already in the news that they are here, and Mr. Muta is like, aha, and now they are here.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that. Was it already in the news by this time?
Yeah. So the police would set up roadblocks and surround the lodge to cut off any tries to escape. Initially, the police thought that they could wait and see if the radicals would surrender on their own. But then they talked with a caretaker, who of course knew about what's inside the lodge, and figured out that there was food for at least 20 days. So they decided not to do a starving strategy. At this point, the police was not even sure who were the fugitives that were in, which one of them, because of course they knew the ones they had arrested in the hideout 3 days ago, but they did not have a full picture who had escaped and who had actually died. So I guess they hadn't, found all the bodies of the dead members yet.
Does it mean that they also don't know how many people there are?
I think they knew the rough amount of this organization, but yeah, I'm not sure if they knew the exact number. But okay. I think they knew that there is 5 people here in the mountain lodge because they saw them escaping. So yeah, this was the first day, 19th of February. Then a night passes, 20th February. The outside of the mountain lodge, the caretaker and some of the family of the United Red Army members would be shouting from an armored vehicle. At this point, as said, the police didn't really know who are in there, so they would just, ask randomly family members of any known members of the United Red Army. But of course, this meant that there was also a parent who was the parent of a student who had already died in the purge that happened in the hideout. But they wouldn't know that yet. At this point, the fugitives inside would not answer or take any form of communication with the outside. And inside the lodge, the group had decided that they are just going to fight until the last man. Like, we're not giving up. I don't know, kind of like, I think we discussed this in the last episode, but this like, whatever, we came this far, let's just fight type of thinking.
It's not like they have a huge chance of escaping if there's already roadblocks and everything.
And I guess they are too stubborn to give up themselves to the police. So yeah, they were kind of disputing that does it even make sense to have the hostage if they're just going to fight with the police. But then they decided not to let her go because she would tell their identities if she was released. So they did seem to care about.
I just find it kind of silly though, like that they're suddenly worried about their identity, but like how are they going to get out without them? I don't know.
I don't think these guys had a very good plan to begin with.
Yeah, but if they are worried about their identity being found out, then they must maybe think that there's some way out for them.
Yeah, probably they were still thinking that they will find a way. But yeah, in the beginning, they had the hostage tied up and shut her mouth with a handkerchief. How is that pronounced?
Handkerchief.
Handkerchief. Okay. But the Sakaguchi was reminded of his URA comrades tied up in the purge that had just happened, and apparently that was not a nice memory for him. So he decided to let her out of the ties without really talking with the others, but no one really said anything against this act. So they were probably like, yeah, why did we even tie her up? Kind of. And there was some communication with the hostage, like when they were making food, she would tell like, hey, you should wait for the rice for a while before you eat it, then it's more delicious. And giving maybe from her perspective, they were these very immature boys, giving them some advice on eating and this kind of communication.
So maybe she didn't really take them that seriously, or they didn't kind of consider them truly dangerous, or I don't know, is that just her nature of being like very, I don't know, caring and motherly?
Yeah, or maybe she thought that being nice to them makes her situation better. Who knows?
It kind of humanizes her, maybe. Like
yeah,
true.
So nothing really happened on that day. So 21st February, the group is still afraid of their identities being revealed. They were afraid, of course, that the hostage would eventually reveal their identities or that they were being listened somehow. So they started to use code names of each other rather than their real names. But I still because it said they started using, I don't know if it meant that they had been using their real names until this point, which would make the code names a bit meaningless. But I didn't find any good way to confirm whether they had actually used their real names before this.
I'm also thinking that if they caught other people, like from the compound, that they fled from, that these other people would kind of like, okay, so there's these people, be interrogated and like, okay, we had this many people there. And then they'd be able to put at least one or two names together from this group, from this
which I
group,
think they did, but these boys didn't really consider that, apparently. Yeah. There was also, in the first days, the leader, Mori, when he had been arrested from the hideout, and he did suggest to the police that he could go there and talk to them, but he refused to give any like official statements before that, so police was like, nope, you're not going anywhere before that. So I mean, I guess the police was able to hear things from these other arrested members. So yeah, they did still not have any communication with outside except some occasional gunshots. So they would just randomly shoot out, I guess, to scare the police out there.
Sounds super scary. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
Fucking
okay.
pointless.
I mean, well, now they know that you definitely have some guns, so that's maybe the only
Yeah. Kind of,
use
don't
of
come
that.
closer. Still don't come closer, kind of communication. But yeah, on 21st February, the caretaker had this idea that he wanted to send his wife a letter inside, just like, oh, do your best, you can survive this, I love you, kind of letter. And one of the riot police officers would put it in a fruit basket and take it to the front door. But, well, the fugitives didn't shoot him or anything, but they also did not go take the fruit basket because they were too afraid of it being bugged.
Well, that's reasonable.
Yeah, so the fruit basket was left there on the door. At this point, the police had identified some of the belongings from the previous lodge where they were before they came to the Asama Lodge, that these belongings belonged to Yoshino. For some reason, the police knew that Yoshino and Sakaguchi are certainly together, so that's why they knew that, okay, Sakaguchi and Yoshino must be inside the lodge. So they would call their families to the site, and the families would talk with loudspeakers to them from the outside. And this was kind of just a, I don't know, cute detail that then Sakaguchi would tell to the hostage that his family has a flower shop in a little town in the countryside, but probably now the village has abandoned the family and the flower shop because, you know, the shame that the son has brought to the family. And there was this word used in the reference, murahachibu, which means 1/8 of the village. And this is a Japanese saying that means like the village will abandon 80% of you. There are only two things that they will never abandon you. One is if there's a fire, they will come to help. And the other one is your death. They will come and, you know, do a funeral.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, like, this basically means cutting all communication with someone who has done something shameful.
Okay,
This was just, I wanted to bring this up as a kind of Japanese culture, like how you can bring shame to your family,
Mm-hmm.
and then your whole family is cut out from the community.
Yeah, even if it's not their, I don't know, like own fault. It's not them personally who did something wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's a way of controlling like the society, you know. You need to raise your children right, so they're not going to do that in the first place, and, you know, this type of thing. And then, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a very drastic way, but I mean, well,
Yeah.
there's some logic into that, even if it's not, you know, that nice.
Yeah. I think many cultures have this, like, kind of don't bring shame to your family
Mm-hmm.
type of. And one more thing in the evening. Anyway, like, the parents were talking to loudspeakers, but this didn't really resolve to anything. Like, they were just listening, like, okay, now my parents are there and talking to hostess, telling stories. But there was television in the lodge, and the radicals were watching it. There was President Nixon visiting to China. I don't know, Laura, do you have any, you know, was this something that would be in the history books in the United States?
Probably. Yeah. I would assume so. I think pretty much all presidential visits to another country are kind of like at least well broadcasted at the time. And yeah, I mean, not in the history books unless something was like signed or some type of thing. But if you catch my drift, but like
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it was just mentioned that this led the radicals to feel that the global communist battle had been lost and their fight is pretty much meaningless. But I thought it's too much if I start to, go deep into the Nixon visiting China thing. But apparently kind of the symbolic thing of it was that like, okay, yeah, there's nothing communism can do anymore. Nixon is visiting China and meeting Mao Zedong, so all is gone now.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Like, nowadays it's maybe even more so if you're visiting China, because I think the relations are even worse than they were back then. But yeah, I think like Russia, China, any of the, North Korea, of course, and yeah, any maybe Middle Eastern countries or something, or maybe the hot ticket items to be on the news where the president visits or the vice president visiting Taiwan, for instance. Yeah. So, yeah.
So, well, anyway, apparently for these extreme leftists, it felt like a bad sign.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Also, apparently, one reason why the police didn't want to cut out the electricity at this point was that they also wanted them to watch this. So, I don't know, this feels very meaningful. Like that the police was like, haha, let's show the communists that Nixons are visiting China. And that the radicals were like, oh, that's when we lost all hope. So it was a big thing. That's all I can say.
Did you say in the previous episode that this was kind of the first case that was broadcasted live as it was happening?
Yes, but the broadcasting actually does not start yet, like live broadcasting.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I
think
was
it
just
was
thinking that
yeah.
even if it wasn't really, I don't know, something very usual that they use kind of the media to influence the case in some way. Also, if you're broadcasting it to the public or using some things from the media to influence the perpetrators, it's kind of smart that they thought about that they, let them watch the news, and that might change something.
Yeah, I would say that this case is very interesting from a like media analysis point also. But I think at this point it was just, in the daily news that hey, nothing's going on. They are still there. Hostage is still there. Kind of. Yeah. So then we have the 22nd of February. Still nothing has happened much. In the morning, Yoshino's mother is trying to convince him to give up from the loudspeakers and asks, can you really shoot at your mother? And then he does shoot at the vehicle where his mother is in. But, well, it's an armed vehicle, so the bullets bounce away. And then Yoshino also apparently started crying, so he did feel very conflicted about the fact that he did just shoot at his mother. Yeah.
Damn. That's one of the worst things I think you could do to your parent, like besides killing them, obviously, is, people are like, oh yeah, I never call your mom a bitch or something like that, of course, but shooting at them is like, what the fuck? Especially
even if
in Japanese.
That probably once, they're in an armed vehicle, but still, like the symbolism of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's over the top.
Yeah, then there was, in the afternoon of this day, there was some kind of hassle where there was a painter and a journalist who crossed the police line and tried to approach the mountain lodge. I don't want to go too much into details. But anyway, some hassle with civilians. But then in the midst of this, a random civilian guy who introduced himself simply, a man of culture. So he sucks at crossing the police line, and he arrives at the main entrance. And then he takes the fruit basket that has been there now like 2 days and starts calling out to radicals, and he offers that you can take me like as a hostage if you let the other hostage away. Take me in place. And then the police is like, hey, radicals, this guy really is a civilian. Please don't shoot him. Because, of course, they're, worried.
Yeah, it's
Thinking he's-
suspicious. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is very, yeah.
And then Yoshino does shoot. And then Sakaguchi sees this guy winking to the police and gets really suspicious, like, okay, no way this guy is a civilian, and shoots him. The man falls down, but he gets up the stairs himself, and then the police manages to rescue him back to the safe zone. And then he says something like, oh, is it me? It hurts, but I'm fine. But actually he has a bullet in his brain.
What the
Oh my God.
fuck?
Yeah, these are really weird cases when you're like shot in the brain and you're still talking.
Mhm.
Wow.
But he does die, not immediately, only on the 1st of March.
Wow.
So yeah.
What was the
So fucking random. Who was this guy? Was he just a narcissist that wanted to be on
Yeah,
on
it was like
TV?
15 minutes of fame or what?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe like it sounds like he wanted to be a hero, save the hostage, like take me instead.
He's watched too many Western or like, US movies or something like that. Ugh.
Maybe.
Yeah, probably there was already
Yeah,
those
like I
in the
was
70s.
kind of thinking that did he have any connection to anyone?
No, at least anything I could find.
Okay.
I don't know, was he
that's
just like,
really weird.
having a holiday in the area, or was he a local living there? That's, yeah. But he eventually died on the 1st of March, so it took some time that he was in the hospital. So in
Yeah.
that sense, he was kind of the first victim who died, but he was not the first who died in the the date he died was after other people had already died too. But he was the first who got a fatal shot.
Yeah.
Remember,
I was just thinking that, well, at least he gave some study material to neuroscientists.
Mm.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. So the first victim was the man of culture.
Wow. Okay.
Later, 2 police from the Nagano police tried to approach the mountain lodge without proper equipment, and they got badly wounded. And this was when there had been some, apparently like the riot police of Nagano and the normal police of Nagano had been collaborating with this, but after this they decided that only the riot police will take care of any actions around the mountain lodge because the normal police does not have enough proper equipment. I guess this meant like proper helmets and bullet vests and whatever you might need, or this kind of, what is it you hold in your hand?
Shield?
Shield, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just
Sorry, I
when-
got distracted with Astrid. She was like making some noise and she was licking herself, but then rubbing on the wall. Anyway, okay, yeah, that was Sorry, because didn't hear the question.
Astrid is a cat,
Yes.
just for the licking herself.
She had one
comment.
leg up, and yeah, she was really getting into it. So yeah, okay.
It's good to keep yourself tidy.
Okay, so a shield.
Yeah,
Shield,
yeah.
yes. This was just me guessing what meant proper equipment
Hmm.
that a normal police does not have, but a riot police has. So
Yeah,
anyway,
usually, yeah.
just a minor detail. Anyway, these guys got badly wounded. This was the point, because I wanted to kind of. I'm not going to, list all the names of these police officers and their titles because I don't think it's very important. But they were all brave people. Let's say that. So as I said, the electricity had been working because the police had intentionally wanted them to see the Nixon visit. But now the broadcasting of that is over, so police shuts down the electricity. They're like, okay, you've seen enough of media, so you don't need electricity anymore. But gas and water are still working normally.
Yeah, I was a bit concerned about like temperatures and stuff if it's, snowy outside, but then if they have gas, then I guess it doesn't hinder them. They can still heat stuff, and they probably have everybody's clothes inside the lodge that they could put on for warmth, I guess. Like,
And it could be that the heating is gas based.
yeah, it could be too. Yeah.
I'm not really sure. Actually, I didn't check this out, like how it is in the 70s. But at least nowadays, it's usually like electricity. But of course, there's gas heaters. Yeah, but there was mentioned that it was very cold anyway inside. So I do think that not all of the warming was by gas, because it mentions that they did get cold after this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The police also leaves a megaphone in front of the lodge and asks the radicals to give some, demands or political speech or something, because they thought it's just too weird that they have a hostage, but they don't have any demands. Like, what do you want? Why are you keeping the hostage? Yoshino likes the idea that they could, share their message, but Sakaguchi insists that let's continue the fight without saying anything, like we've done this for 20. Anyway, nothing happens. They don't take the megaphone because Sakaguchi is like, nope, we'll just fight. So 23rd of February is the next day. And at this point, the police tries to find out. They want to see the fugitives and if the hostage is still alive. So they shoot 20 tear gas bombs into the bathroom of the lodge. I guess they thought that they would come open the windows and come there to get rid of the tear gas or something. But Sakaguchi protects everyone with a lemon or lemons, so the tear gas doesn't work properly. And I did Google that apparently lemon is something like that helps to tear gas to some extent.
In what way or how do you use a lemon?
Yeah, it's not like you put the lemon on your eyes either, right? I mean,
Like the lemon juice or the oils in the peel, or
if you think you might encounter tear gas, you can soak a bandana or paper towel in lemon juice and store it in a plastic baggie. You can breathe through the acidified cloth for several minutes.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
So
Okay.
yeah, that's
Good to know.
Yeah, I don't know. If things get radical, you have to go to demonstration. Who knows?
Yeah.
World
Well,
is always-
Sakaguchi
be
is
prepared.
definitely the leader of the group for knowing that type of shit.
Yeah. And I guess these guys have been to violent demonstrations up until this far, so not probably his first time seeing tear gas. So yeah, anyway, this fails. They don't come to the window. The police does not figure out who they are and if the hostage is still alive. Okay, so this night between 23rd and 24th, the police starts a new strategy in the middle of night that they put a loudspeaker or like kind of radio that will constantly keep noise of shooting, and then they also shoot flare bombs to disturb the sleep of the radicals.
Yep. Good strategy. I was about to say, I was going to guess that they would play some random music, some like, I don't know, 70s. What's like, okay, yeah, Yoko Ono screaming or something like that, or I don't know.
Yeah. But I think, I don't know, maybe they like chose the shooting so that these guys would always be like, is the police attacking now? Are they coming inside?
Yeah.
Stage.
It sounds like they are pretty strategic and smart. First with the media usage, like letting them watch Nixon, and then the tear gas. Why not?
Yeah, I think it was good for. Yeah, finally we have a case where the police is actually good.
Yes, good job.
Yeah, at this point, Yoshino suggests that maybe we could let the let the hostage go to the balcony because it's the morning and the family of the hostage is trying to call out the radicals with a megaphone or something, and Yoshino's like, okay, let's like show her so they calm down at least. But Sakaguchi is again like, nope, we're not showing anyone. The same day, police finds evidence from the previous lodge that the one more guy, Bando, is hiding here too. And they call his mother, and again the mother arrives and calls out for her son, but Bando doesn't answer. In the afternoon, police tries to approach, and they use a water cannon to break the main entrance and some of the barricades, but the fugitives answer with firing guns, so the police decides to withdraw and not approach further.
Did you have any information on like how many guns and ammunition and stuff that they actually have? Because I mean, after this many days, even if you're firing a couple times per day, that's quite a lot of ammo, isn't it? I mean, do they just have handguns or I don't know,
No,
any
I actually
information?
don't have. No, I don't have that. I didn't think of, looking. Maybe that would be in some of the sources, but no, they didn't. Most of them didn't go to any army details.
Yeah.
But as said, I think the guns were originally from this gun shop robbery. So I do think that they managed to take quite a lot of stuff with them when they escaped.
Yeah, but I mean, it has to be still like not such a huge amount if they were walking.
Yeah. I don't maybe they didn't shoot that often then, I guess. Yeah, I don't know the details of that.
Yeah.
And what was the last date? The 25th?
Yeah, now we're that was the 24th. So now they have been there for 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
Because they entered 19th of February. So now comes the night between 24th and 25th, and the police continue the noise strategy with constantly playing shooting sounds, and they also bring a baseball pitching machine that throws rocks to the building, like this constant dum, dum, dum. So
It's
at this
creative.
point, yes, I'm like, wow, these police officers really had ideas.
Yeah.
And where did they get all this stuff? I mean, I guess they could just go to a local baseball field, like, hey, we're the police, give us the pitching machine. So the fugitive starts to suffer from sleep deprivation. I mean, that comes pretty quickly if it's already been 2 days of this, and probably they haven't slept that well on the previous nights either, I would assume. But nothing happens on 25th. Then it's 26th February. There's a very thick fog, so Yoshino suggests that let's take advantage of the fog and escape, because, I mean, these guys are sleep deprived and probably a bit sick of being in the lodge. But they don't find a feasible route. Like, they have several different plans, but they all have some issue that they decide that they have to give up the escaping plan.
Sounds like they should make some demands.
Yeah. The hostage family is calling them out again outside, and now the hostage tries to convince Sakaguchi to let her show her face. Like, hey, they would calm down if you just let me out for a second. But Sakaguchi does not let her show her face, and she's disappointed, and then he vocally comments that Sakaguchi has no respect for human life, like that she really is not happy with him. And then she says that she won't cause any trouble, but she asks him not to ask her to come to the court as a witness. Like, I guess she's like, I don't want to deal with you anymore ever. I hate you kind of comment, but more delicate. And he promises like, okay, I won't, and gives her an amulet from a temple. This kind of amulets are very common thing in Japan. Nothing super special, but still, I don't know. Maybe he wanted to show that, yeah, still good luck to you. I don't want to kill you or anything, kind of thing. And then still the police is not sure of all the people who are in the lodge, so they had mistakenly called a wrong family outside, and they try to call out for their son, who is sadly already dead in the hideout purge. But the family thinks that he would be in there. Then also later this evening, Bando is snacking. I don't know, maybe something that they had, like, it just said that Bando was snacking, but probably meaning that it was a food that they were supposed to share or something, and he's just taking portions to himself without asking, and they have a fight about that, and then they make Bando do this self-criticism, but apparently not
Oh my
in a
God.
very... But this time it wasn't like, they didn't do any violence per se, probably just made him to do something. I'm a bad communist, I should not steal everybody's food. Or
Yeah.
Wow, these guys are really kind of dedicated to the cause, like even under these circumstances. That's a
But I guess
priority.
I guess that's kind of like the only way they know. They're like, oh, we're angry at our friend. What should we do? Let's make him do self-criticism.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was just a funny detail, but kind of maybe also telling that these guys are getting more probably angry at each other, and they have not slept well. Maybe they're not eating that well, even though there is, I don't know, not feeling good, I would assume. So yeah, next day, 27th of February, they've been here 8 days already. There are still some families outside calling, the parents of Yoshino, the parents of the dead member who is not inside the lodge. And also the fugitives have this feeling that the police has been kind of acting differently than previously, but they can't really figure out like why, what's going on. But something like their movement and everything seems to be a bit different, which makes sense because on 28th February, 9 days of siege, at 5 a.m., the rock throwing stops. So until this point, the baseball machine has been throwing rocks constantly, but now it stops.
Curious. I would
Yes.
think that something's coming.
Yes. And around this same time, Yoshino notices some riot police resting in another lodge, and he thinks that he could shoot them, like from this distance. And he does prepare a gun, but in the end he does not act, does not shoot them. At 9 a.m., the police ask the radicals to surrender. And around the same time, the national broadcaster, NHK, this is like the national broadcaster of Japan, comes to the site and starts to air the events in live, continuous coverage. So this is kind of where the live broadcasting starts.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So
a
my
lot of things can
assumption,
happen that maybe,
Yeah.
like, at least nowadays you wouldn't want to show to the public live.
exactly, like, are you sure about the live? But yeah, I really didn't find this information, but I think the police officer probably contacted, like, now it's time, we're going in, kind of way. So police repeats the request to surrender several times. They get no response, and at 10 a.m. they start an attack. And what they have done on the previous day is that they have prepared a crane equipped with a wrecking ball.
Oh shit.
Wow.
In the document I saw in Japan, there was like they were interviewing this guy, the owner of the crane, like, yeah, then I gave the police my crane. But yeah, so it was just a crane from some local guy and a wrecking
Wow.
ball.
Yeah.
And
Wow, these cops indeed are very I don't know. I feel like they've kind of watched either lots of movies or something, or it just seems very fantastical. I would never think of taking a wrecking. It's smart, I think, because then
Yeah.
you're in the rain. It's hard to shoot, and you can maybe do it where like kind of duck down and just like make the ball go into the building. But yeah, that's quite fantastical in my mind.
Yeah, it's been taking so long, so I'm sure at this point they're just like, well, let's just, have these whatever ideas, whatever I've kind of come up in my
Yeah.
life with to try in this kind of a situation. This is the time to do it.
I'm also
Exactly.
thinking, what was the conversation like? Everyone's gathered around, like, what could we get to go? Yeah, yes, wrecking ball. Oh, what about like, I don't know, like a swarm of locusts or something fucking random, like anything goes, anything goes. Just tell an idea, and then the wrecking ball won out or something. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean they had like kind of softer solutions before with the loud noise and all
Yeah.
that. So this is more like okay, we can't wait any longer.
yeah,
There is a movie made out of this I really want to see.
Yeah, I mean
But
this
yeah.
sounds like perfect movie material.
It really
exactly.
does. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, what they do with the wrecking ball is that they make a hole at the stairs next to the entrance and start shooting water there because
Mm,
they did have the water cannon already there a
yeah.
couple of days ago. And the fight starts. So there are some police officer approaching, some police controlling the water cannon, and just lots of happening. I don't think explaining all the detailed movements is important here. But anyway, shooting happens. Fugitives shoot at the police, and this results as 2 police officers dying.
Shit.
So this is like, yeah, this is an action scene. One of the police officers is for certain shot by Bando, and the other is either shot by Bando or Yoshino, but it's never confirmed. I mean, I'm not sure if
Yeah.
the guys themselves know whose bullet hit.
I mean, that's interesting, I guess. Like, yeah, it's kind of interesting with that many people, like five people shooting out into the crowd, and then I guess they would probably do a ballistics report or something on the bullet that's found or something in the body or whatever. But then that's if they would carry the gun or keep the gun, with them for them to be like, okay, so Yoshino was shooting with this one, Bando was shooting with this one, Sakaguchi and the Gatos were shooting with these ones. But yeah.
And
Yeah,
it
I mean
might be
it's
that they were even using the same gun.
yeah,
Mm.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, so it seems kind of weird that they can make that claim that, yeah, it was definitely Bando who shot like one of them, but then Yoshino the other, or Bando. Yeah.
but it might be that like it was just seen clearly
Mm.
that okay, he's standing there, police is standing there, Panda shot, police died.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, the fugitives did have a radio, and they were kind of hearing from there the dead and wounded toll, like because the broadcasting was on, so there would be this live report, like, oh no, 2 police officers are down, blah blah blah, and they were hearing this from radio, so this sounded like they didn't really have a good, grasp of what is happening and who they are being, if their bullets are hitting or not. And
Yeah.
also the hostage is of course listening to radio, and she's like really, of course, shocked, and she's asking them to stop shooting and killing people, and she's suggesting that they could use her as a shield to get out. Like she's just desperate, like please don't kill any more people. But yeah, no, they don't take her suggestion. But the fight continues until 6 p.m. with a wrecking ball, water cannon, some more tear bombs. Like, yeah, you can just imagine the scene. And at 6 p.m., the fugitives are arrested, and the hostage, Mrs. Muta, is released unharmed.
Oh, that's good that she was unharmed. But yeah, too bad the 2 police officers had to die. And then the guy also,
The man
in
of
March.
culture.
Man of
Yeah,
culture.
the man of culture. Yes, yes. That could be a band name, Man of Culture. But
That's
okay,
good. But yeah, so that was the happy ending. But one more sad detail that because this is aired live, as said. So when they arrest these guys, it's aired in national television. Like these guys are taken out from the lodge and police, takes them there. And then there is Bando, and Bando's family is watching it live from their television. And when Bando's father saw his son there as one of the arrested, so at this point he didn't know that his son is there. So he sees him in the television. He stood up from his chair, left the room, and hanged himself.
Oh,
Oh my God.
damn.
Yeah, I think that was the kind of second example of this shame on the family
Mhm.
Yeah.
that he probably felt. It was so sad how, like, he didn't even think. He just stood up and hanged himself.
In these instances, like, since the father killed himself, does that bring honor back on the family, or is it kind of like nullifies the situation that caused the dishonor, or is it just I can't live with it, this dishonor, I might as well just end it now? Do you know anything about that?
I think someone else might be more expert on these, but if we think all the history of samurais and the seppuku
Yeah.
stuff, I don't know if it really nullifies it, but in a way you can kind of okay, this is shameful. I don't deserve to live anymore. And then people are like, okay, yes, he acknowledged the shame and did the right thing. Yes.
That kind of
Almost like an
gives back some.
offering. Yeah,
like
almost like an
some
offering or something too.
respect.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to hear what happened to the fugitives after this?
Yes.
Yes.
So they were charged on 6 counts: 2 murders, 1 attempted murder, obstruction police in the execution of their duties, violation of the firearm and sword possession control law, and illegal confinement.
Hmm. But
4
not
were
everybody got the murder charges, right? I mean, or was it just
Yeah,
Bando and Yoshino? Or
I think that Yoshino, Sakaguchi, and Bando got the murder, but the Kato brothers didn't, because they went. I don't think they shot any, at least fatal shots. There was no mention of them shooting it at all, so it might be that they were just hanging there.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, were they tried separately or together? Or how does this usually go?
I didn't look into too much details of the court proceedings of the 70s, but I would think
Yeah.
separately.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. I
But
was just
not
kind of
maybe in
thinking that
one
it
court. Yeah.
depends on the country, it depends on the era, I guess.
Yeah. So 4 of them were sentenced to long prison terms, but Sakaguchi was sentenced to death because, well, he was the one who shot the man of the culture and also kind of made lots of decisions.
Interesting. I would have thought the other 3 also would have gotten death, but yeah. Even though Sakaguchi was the one making most of the decisions and calling the shots, it seems a bit each person murdered someone still. So I don't know. Just seems a bit weird in my mind.
I guess for
Yeah.
Yoshino, they couldn't be completely certain that he murdered anyone.
At least with the Bando, then it would have maybe made.
Yeah. For Bando. Yeah. So, and apparently Sakaguchi did appeal for a retrial in 2013. So but it was rejected, and he's still in the death row.
Wow.
So wait, death row after like 40 years or 50 years technically, or 40
Yeah,
years, I guess, at that point. What the
yeah.
fuck?
I don't know.
Huh.
That doesn't happen in the USA. Like,
I mean,
can't
I
they
it
think
do
it
does,
it?
but
does. Yeah.
I think it does, but not that long. That's like ridiculously long. I think 20 or 30 years, sure, and then you eventually get some type of stay of execution or some pardon or something like that, if it's that long. But fuck, that's 40. Like, okay, I'm gonna check. What's the
Yeah,
longest?
I'm also checking the same.
And that is long because I think the guy who did the 95 metro attacks in Tokyo, he was his death sentence was like a couple of years ago. So making that he was less than 30 years in the death row, but still quite a long time.
Just found this Raymond Riles. Have you
Yeah,
found the same
yeah,
one, Laura?
yeah. From
He's
76 to 2021, where then
yeah.
he was put to life imprisonment instead. Yeah. Wow.
I
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so he wasn't even executed then.
Executed. Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, I don't think anybody stays on there like indefinitely. It's either they really do get pardoned or some other like stay of execution and then resentenced to something else. And then, but usually people are fucking. I mean, it's not a quick process by any means. It can like 10 years is fine, but 40 is like what the fuck. Just yeah.
Yeah. I mean, of course, it must take time because you can probably do a lot of, complaints and what are they called? Anyway, like
Yeah.
there has to be the possibility to not agree with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like, I think many appeals where people try to get the lesser sentence or something, or when new evidence or something like that, or if it's kind of a bit of a tricky case where maybe the evidence actually was more circumstantial, but they're still on death row. I think it's more of a case then they might get like leniency or longer time on death row just because the lawyers are trying harder to get them to a different sentence or out even. But yeah.
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 So Sakaguchi is in the death row still. If nothing has happened lately, but at least I haven't noticed any news. Then the Kato brothers, actually their eldest brother had already died in the purge thing in the hideout for their escape. But the two guys who were in this siege, the older one was 19. He was sentenced to hard labor for 13 years. And the younger was sent to reform school because he was still 16.
Okay. Well, I mean, I kind of agree with that, at least like under 18.
And he probably didn't really do much, I would
Yeah,
assume.
yeah. I mean, technically, he fucking survived a cult, if you think about it, with everybody else being murdered at the compound,
Yeah.
previous to that and tied to trees and yeah.
And actually, the only one who has. I mean, when I was searching about this, the Kato boy, what was his first name? The older Kato, Jiro. He's still alive and he's giving some like interviews about what happened and telling his story. So I guess for him it was probably, and he was saying kind of like, yeah, I was stupid. I was the only one who was smiling when we got arrested because I was so happy that we get out of this situation.
Mm.
That's kind of like, oh, why did I get here? Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, it
While
probably sounds good on paper, just like communism in general. And then it's
Yeah.
like, okay, when you're actually in the thick of it, like, fuck, I can't go back now. And then, I mean, you probably would have been killed by the other guys if you
Exactly.
tried to leave as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, interestingly, about the Bando, he was in the prison only for a very short time until 1975 when Japanese government released him to an asylum in Libya in response to demands from Japanese Red Army members who had attacked the US and Swedish embassies in Kuala Lumpur and taken
What?
53 hostages. So
Wow.
basically, he was exchanged.
Yeah. Wow. This is fucking insane. Like,
Wait,
Yeah.
I
this really
completely missed this. I was, I dropped out for like over a minute.
Oh,
really?
okay.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah.
fuck! For us it only seemed like 5 seconds or
Yeah.
something.
No,
So
I was
yeah.
like disconnected. I was trying to get back to Wi-Fi, or maybe over a minute. That's why.
Fuck. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
But
say that again.
but can you just catch me up super quickly, and then you can continue from the same place?
Yes. So Bando was in prison only until 1975, and then he was exchanged, and the Japanese government released him and flew him to asylum in Libya in response to demands from Japanese Red Army members who had stormed the US and Swedish embassies in Kuala Lumpur and taken 53
Oh,
hostages.
wow.
This
So
really should be a fucking movie. Like
yeah.
this
Yeah.
is. I mean, okay, it already is a movie, but now you need to tell us the name of it so then I can try to find a copy that has English subtitles.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just trying to actually watch another Japanese movie this weekend, but it didn't have the subtitles, so I was like, I can try to go along with it, but
I mean, if the
yeah,
visuals are like good enough, you can kind of try to follow it just based on.
yeah, like it
I
was a
can
ghost
come.
story, like Quiet On. It was the name of
Ooh,
the movie. Have you seen it or?
no.
Oh,
But
okay,
Japanese
yeah.
ghost stories are too scary. Can't see.
That's what I was telling Auntie. He was like, "Yeah, let's see." I mean, it's from the 70s, so or no 60s. So I was like, maybe it's not as scary, but Japanese are the scariest. Okay, yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Sorry. Movie title. Do you know it by any chance?
I think I have it somewhere. I can tell it in the as the last anecdote.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But anyway, well, I can just more about Bando. He was associated in assisting a hijacking of Japan Airlines from Paris to Tokyo in 1977, and it is said that he has. It is reported that he spent time in Russia, China, Philippines, Japan.
This guy doesn't
Uh,
quit. Okay. Jesus.
yeah. I mean, like, I think he seemed like the guy who did not regret this at all. He's just like, keep going, hijack some airplanes. Yo.
Yeah, it almost seems funny then. Like, do you think that he had a bigger role because this, like, Sakaguchi, got the death row because you obviously killed someone, and then also he was the quote unquote ringleader. But
Yeah.
could it also have been Bando? Sounds like he was very or for the communist cause or whatever. So it seems a bit silly thinking that I don't know that he didn't get a bigger role or on death row or whatever. I mean, he would have still been exchanged for the hostages in Kuala Lumpur, but
Yeah, but also like who was like just how do you define who was making
yes,
most of the decisions or who was the
yeah.
leader?
Yeah, I mean, just because Sakaguchi was like, yeah, we're not going to release her. Okay, we're not going to take the what is it? The thing to talk, to make you loud.
Oh, the megaphone.
Megaphone. Jesus fuck, yeah. Yes. We're not going to
But
use the
also
megaphone.
how like the police got this information after the fact, like when they were like during their trial, probably. It
Yeah,
was in
and I
their
mean, he could have just
testimonies, like
been
who made the decision.
hearsay. Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
it could have been hearsay between all the other guys. Yeah, it was definitely that guy who made all of the decisions. Or
But also, like, let's say if Bando was the real leader, it might be, I mean, in like a radical group, I could imagine something like, let's sacrifice ourselves with the actual leader or something. So then
yeah,
the other
that
guy
could be.
would say that, well, it was me, and then he gets sentenced to death, and then the
Yeah,
actual decision maker gets more.
because I mean, he obviously had some pull, like with other groups or like with the
Yeah.
other Japanese groups. That's fucking massive pull. 50 something
Mm-hmm.
for one guy. Holy fuck,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
impressive.
I'm not 100% sure if it was like only him or him among other people. I didn't go
Mm-hmm.
into details
But then why
with
not
it,
this whole
but
group
still.
of people as well?
Yeah,
Like, why
yeah.
not all 5 of them then? So it just seems a bit fishy to me that he had a bigger role in this than the court
We are
transcript.
writing an even better story here.
Yeah, it was all him. It was all Bando.
Yeah, I just had the image like from the story that I read, like, him snacking the food, and also like the photos when he was arrested. Like he just looked like this, aggressive psychopath type of guy that he's
Okay.
just there for the ride. But I mean, this was just my image that he's just
I
like,
mean,
oh yeah, let's take hostages, let's kill people, oh yo, kind of, this type of
yeah,
terrorist
it's the type
guys.
of or the type of people who join cults just because they know that they can do whatever they want in that cult, to
Yeah,
take advantage of other people. So,
but I don't know. Maybe he was very, very keen communist in his heart.
Mm.
But yeah, and for the hostage, Mrs. Muta stayed in Karuizawa working at another lodge. I guess this lodge wasn't continuing the business after this with the wrecking ball and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, she gave the initial statements to the police and press when she was rescued, but after that she has refused to speak any further about the ordeal. So that's all we know about her.
I'm glad she survived. At least that's
Yeah.
something in the end.
Yeah. So it is said that this was one of the biggest events that kind of caused the Japanese to the whole Japanese population to become very against radical student leftist groups. And after this, the leftist movement in Japan decreased and became the popularity kind of disappeared.
Well, I mean, imagine watching this on live television.
Yeah.
This is pretty scary. Just reading about it or something is not going to kind of show you the realities that much.
And then you see also like, so what's the point of this? Are these people stupid? Kind of aspects of the movement, killing people there, and yeah.
Wow. Cool. Well, cool case, interesting case, I guess, would be maybe more apt and correct.
Yeah, maybe not our traditional murder case.
Yeah. Thanks for this, Petra.
Thank you. A lot of creative police work as well. That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were good. I will also look for the movie name for anyone who wants to watch it. I think I saw it in Wikipedia. Oh yeah, and want to tell one more funny detail. When this was aired, the policemen were eating instant noodles, like as a snack, and this apparently raised the instant noodle popularity at that time.
Wait, when the movie was released
in the actual, like, while this was happening.
Oh.
So people were like, oh, the cool police officers are eating noodles. Let's do the same.
That actually sounds kind of nice now. I might have some ramen after this.
Oh yeah, I'm very hungry too.
Okay, so there is the movie. It is, I think it had an English title too. So the Japanese title is Totsunyu Seo Asama-Sansō Incident. So go kind of attack in is the meaning. The English title seems to be The Choice of Hercules. But why? Who is Hercules?
Yeah.
Very interesting translation.
Yeah. like a many-headed hydra or something, cutting off the head. I don't know. Okay, I'm just trying to think of what it could mean, but okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I can
Some
send a link to the
hero character.
Internet
Hell.
movie database. So
Mhm.
you can... But yeah, the movie is actually relatively new in the sense it was, I think, 2002. Yeah,
Okay.
so not
Yeah.
from the era, but yeah.
Relatively new. Yeah, I mean, yeah, compared to when the original case happened. It's just weird that it kind of feels not that old, but it's 22 years ago.
Yeah. Cool. I guess we can wrap things up then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is-
sorry, I was just looking at the IMDb page.
How
Yes.
many stars on IMDb?
So if
6.1.
this is the 6.1, yes, if it's the
Okay.
right one that I
Yeah.
opened.
Okay.
Wow, thanks,
Yeah.
Petra. This was
Yeah,
really
Yeah.
interesting.
I hope there might be some minor mistakes in the details because there was just so much text about this, but I think this was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Well, I
it
mean,
was
that's
good.
the good thing about our podcast that well, most of these stories are not really covered in English, or at least not in detail. So it's pretty
So
difficult to check.
Yeah. Someone would be like having to be fluent in Japanese and then happen to listen to our podcast in English and then know this case or do a bunch of research themselves and then, haha, no, it's not like that. So I think we're safe.
Did not happen
Yeah.
on the 27th, but on 26th February.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
But I mean, if that happens with any of the cases, I think like kind of, corrections are welcome. So send us an email.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So next week I'll have a Finnish case, and it's also kind of like the first of its kind, but it's kind of a recent case. Anyway, so yeah, it'll be
Okay.
Finnish.
Mm.
Maybe a bit of a shorter one. It won't be two parts, that's for sure. So
Mhm.
yeah, but yeah, guess I'll tell you that next time. And thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. Send us an email. Hei
Also, dick pics.
paralla. No,
No
yeah,
dick
no dick pics. Yeah, no. Yeah. Hei paralla.
Bye.
Bye.